You see this? This is from a smaller channel. YouTube is saying it needs 48 more minutes to finish processing HD and 4K quality. Meanwhile, my channel, boom, instant 4K in just 6 minutes. And it's not because my internet's better. In fact, my internet's not that good. But this is proof that YouTube is rigged against small creators. YouTube's encoding algorithm prioritizes videos from established channels, so the little guys get throttled. And the same goes for the quality of the video or just uploads in general. And even things like how likely you are to rank in search. And I could go on, but all of these things favor larger channels, and this is why you make content that's just as good as theirs and it doesn't get any views. Now, why is this? Because YouTube gives priority to larger, more established creators. And they have limited resources and they distribute those resources to larger creators that are more likely to already have an audience and therefore more likely to get views. And it's kind of like if you were hosting an event and Taylor Swift said that she was going to come. The event host would probably make everything as easy as possible for her to attend because she's a big star and she has an army of dedicated fans. Whereas if you're a local band that's trying to get exposure, they're not going to roll out the red carpet for you. And they're definitely not going to go out of their way to help you. And it might be unfair, but it also makes a lot of sense from their perspective because they don't have infinite resources. And this is why creators get stuck in this small channel hell for what seems like forever. I mean, look at this guy's channel. He's been uploading for 10 years and still has only 8,000 subscribers. And this story is not that uncommon. In fact, I was stuck for 10 years myself. I tried channel after channel after channel. For instance, I tried one channel called Guys Life Hacks that was about life hacks for guys. I tried another channel where I did RuneScape gameplay footage. And for years, I was stuck in what I call small channel hell. That frustrating place where you pour your heart and soul into videos that get 3 views, 1 like, and your mom commenting, "Great job, honey." I was literally questioning if I was delusional for even trying on YouTube. So my very first channel was a RuneScape channel. And from the time I started my first channel, which was a RuneScape channel, to the time I finally started the channel that actually took off was about 10 years. Now, of course, there were a lot of times in between where I quit and I didn't upload for years, or I would try on a channel, post a few videos, and then, just think it's a failure, and I would move on to the next channel, etc., etc. But let me show you the 3 game-changing strategies that I use to get out of small channel hell. All right, quick break. This Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, I'm doing a one-time only workshop where I talk about hybrid YouTube automation, which is YouTube automation that actually works. And at this workshop, I'm gonna be giving away my one-click scriptwriter. This is a GPT, a piece of software that I've been working on. It's been trained on thousands of hours of my teaching, my scripts, coaching sessions, etc. And you can make a script in as little as 1 click using this software. So I'm gonna be giving that away for this one time only at this workshop. So make sure you show up, click the link in the description, pin comment below. Also make sure to put it on your calendar, save the date, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll see you there. And also, you'll be able to ask me questions live. So I look forward to meeting you. See you there Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And now we'll get back to your regularly scheduled programming. So game changer number 1 is what I like to call the evolution method. Now, let's listen to Darwin's actual words in 1859. It is not the strongest species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It's the one that's most adaptable to change. And when I first started on YouTube, I was trying to be this mastermind that planned everything out until the end, like a chess player trying to calculate 30 moves down the line. When in reality, 3 moves in, my opponent would do something different than what I expected, and all my plans would be ruined. And then I'd have to start all over again from scratch. And I created channels the exact same way. They were too specific, and when the content I envisioned didn't work out, there was no way to pivot because the channel was about that subject and I couldn't talk about anything else. So instead, I created a channel where I could easily pivot content if needed, and I could talk about different things that people found interesting or even I found interesting that weren't necessarily related to my niche. And if you think this isn't a common path, all you have to do is realize that this happens all the time with companies. And also not just companies, but YouTube channels too. For instance, YouTube started off as a video dating site. And if they would have called it videodating.com, it never would have been YouTube. But they called it something that was ambiguous enough that they could pivot to a video sharing website, and that's how YouTube was born. And almost none of the most famous YouTubers started off making the content that they're known for now. Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning, for instance, started off making comedy music videos and sketches around 2006 to 2012. Why? Because that's what worked at the time. And now they make a daily talk show involving food. Literally nothing like their original content. And Mr. Beast started off with gaming commentary videos and worst intros reaction videos in 2012 to 2017. Why? because at the time he had no idea what to do. And now he makes challenge videos that usually involve massive money prizes. And the list goes on and on. So the lesson here, make your channel in such a way where it rolls with the punches like a boxer. You may have a vision for the niche, the topics, or the types of content you want to make. But the truth is, things will often not work out the way that you thought they would, or they will change later on down the line. And when that happens, you need to be able to adapt. So if something isn't working the way you want it to, don't start over with a new channel. Try different things, tinker, and eventually you will find your niche, your superpower, and your way of providing value in a way that no one else can. And this is not only for your niche, but also for the video ideas that you do too. For instance, when I first started my channel, I knew it was broadly going to be about wealth, right? The wealth niche, which is a massive niche. But I made videos about all kinds of different topics. How to get government grants because I worked for a 501c3 and I knew how to write grants. I made some videos about cryptocurrency. I made some videos about Mark Cuban's investments. I made some videos about the best stockbrokers, college degree videos, side hustle videos, jobs videos, etc., etc. And the one that took off at first were the college degree videos. And then I did that for a couple years and I kind of got tired of it. But because of the fact that I built a large personal brand, when I pivoted over to alternative education and careers in general, and then eventually side hustles and different ways to make money online, my audience followed me. And that's the beautiful thing about creating a personal brand, is it grows and evolves while you grow and evolve. And that leads me to my next point, game changer number 2. And I like to call this the hot dog method. And this is going from what do I want to make to what do they desperately need. Now, the analogy here is selling hot dogs to a starving audience of people versus selling gourmet food in the middle of the desert or selling gourmet food to people walking out of Bellagio buffet in Las Vegas. So let's just say you open the best restaurant in the world and you put that restaurant in the middle of a desert. You're not gonna make any money because no one's in the middle of the desert. This is like making videos where nobody cares about the topic or the idea of the video. You could make the greatest video in the world, but nobody cares about it. And so therefore you're not gonna get any views. And this is quite common and I see it all the time on YouTube. Now, the second most common thing that I see on YouTube is like opening up the world's best food truck. Let's just say it's a gourmet food truck, but parking it right in front of the Bellagio buffet exit. Everyone walking out of the Bellagio buffet is already full. It's a freaking buffet. And it's really good if you've never tried it, by the way. But the point here is they're full. And even though your food might be incredible, no one's gonna try it because they're already satiated, right? They already had enough of their fill. And this is like making content on a topic that a ton of other people have already made the exact same content on, right? So in the first case, when you make the food in the desert, there's no demand and no supply. In the second case, where you parked outside the Bellagio buffet, there's a lot of demand, but there's also a lot of supply. So it's really not all that good. And this you can figure out how to make yourself stand apart from everyone else. Now, the third example is the one that really makes a lot of sense. And that's selling mediocre food like hot dogs to a crowd of starving people. For instance, my friend actually did this in college where he actually had a hot dog stand and he parked it outside of the bars when they closed around 1 or 2 a.m. And he would sell out of hot dogs every single night because these people would be leaving the bars, they're really hungry, and they would buy his hot dogs, even though they were pretty mediocre. I mean, let's be honest, hot dogs aren't that good. But the point is, there was a massive amount of demand and there was very, very little supply. And so he didn't have to sell gourmet food. He could make relatively mediocre content in his own way, and it would do well because he was talking about ideas that people actually care about. So the idea is the thing that's going to make or break your video. So spend time figuring out the right ideas to talk about. And this is exactly what I did with my brother's channel, where we launched his channel about a month ago. And the very first video we launched on his channel got over 400,000 views. Why? Because we use this hot dog method to find the right ideas. Now, if you watch the video, it's actually not that good, right? It's literally his first try, right? It can't be that good because it's his first video he's ever made, but it still got over 400,000 views because we used the hot dog method to make sure that it was an idea where there was a massive amount of demand and not very much supply. So the way we do this is we find videos that got a lot of views, even though they're from a small channel, and even though they're either mediocre or preferably bad. And then we steal the idea from that video and make a better video. And that's exactly what we did, right? So it's kind of like if you're opening a restaurant or a hot dog stand, say, you really need to find the right location. And that's exactly what hot dog stands do. No one wakes up in the morning and they're like, oh my goodness, I really hope that I can have hot dogs today. What happens is they just end up in a place somewhere in town where they're super hungry and they see a hot dog stand and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a hot dog. Again, high demand, low supply. And this works incredibly well because let's just say you tried to make gourmet food right away, you're probably gonna be completely overwhelmed, right? You're not gonna make really good food, or you're not gonna make a really good video, and it will take way too long to test different things out and find your video audience fit. And this is the mistake I see so many people make, is they try to make these videos and they spend so much time making these videos that when they actually end up posting it, they get completely crushed when it doesn't do that well. But it's not because the video isn't good, it's because of the fact that it's not on the right idea. So you need to optimize for finding the right ideas that your audience actually cares about. And then once you find the right ideas, that's when you can increase your content quality. And then once you get big enough on your channel, you can basically talk about anything and it won't matter. Basically, you sort of like escape the atmosphere and you're no longer bound by the rules of gravity that small channels are bound by once you have a bigger channel. But when you do have a small channel, you need to use this hot dog method to find the right video ideas. And by the way, this hot dog method is what I've been doing literally like for the last 5 years on my channel. Most of the videos on my channel came from this method. For instance, my most viewed video ever, the most useless degrees, came from this method. You can see the video that I found it from right here. It was a relatively mediocre, if not potentially bad video. Sorry to the guy, but it was kind of bad. The audio was bad. He was kind of rambling. The door in the background was in better focus than his face. And the thumbnail was just a still shot from the video. So yeah, it was pretty bad video. So I made a better version of the video and it absolutely took off, got millions and millions of views. All right, game changer number 3 is the consistency redefinition. Now, it's easy to say to be consistent on YouTube, but this can't be done if you're spending too much time making your videos. And the most important thing when it comes to YouTube is to be able to upload consistently, but you can only do that if your content is sustainable. And in order to make your content sustainable, you can't be spending so much time making every single video. So my rule is you can only spend a maximum of 3 hours per video, and that's a maximum. And this is especially if you have a full-time job, right? If you have a full-time job, you're working 40 hours a week. If you're trying to upload 3 times a week and you're spending 3 hours per video, that's basically another 10 hours. So this is a rule to follow, and it's a rule that I did when I first started on YouTube when I was working a full-time job, where in some cases I was working 60 hours a week and I was still able to grow on YouTube. So the 3-hour rule is incredibly important. Only spend a maximum of 3 hours on a video. And that's if you're doing 3 videos a week, which is what I recommend typically, especially when you first begin. Now, if you're doing 1 video a week, then you can spend a maximum of 10 hours per video. But don't fool yourself. It's probably a much better idea to do 3 videos a week, spending 3 hours per video, than to do 1 video a week, spending 10 hours per video, right? But this is how you stay consistent, by giving yourself a deadline. You can literally set a clock, right? Set a timer, put it next to you, and set it to 3 hours and have it count down. So you know exactly how long you have to make that video. And by the way, the most viewed video on my entire channel, the most useless degrees, took me less than 3 hours to make. And again, this is because it's not about fancy editing. It's not about crazy production quality. It's not about having the best camera out there. It's about the idea. Okay, the idea is the most important thing. And then the second most important thing is how you market or package your video, which is the thumbnail, title, intro. So you shouldn't be spending all that much time on all the other stuff. Now, I mentioned a lot of my clients earlier that were absolutely crushing it on YouTube. For instance, Josh started off making less than $1,000 a month. We helped him scale all the way to over $186,000 a month over a several year period. Sean started off making $10,000 to $30,000 a month. We helped him scale all the way up to over $500,000 a month. And Felix started off already making 7 figures a year, and we helped him scale to 8 figures a year. But there's a lot of other relatable examples too. For instance, Nicole, when she first came to me, had 85 subscribers, and we scaled her all the way up to $85,000 a month. So if you're interested in taking YouTube seriously, right, going to the big leagues, then go ahead and book a call with us down in the description and the pinned comment below. And this will be a free strategy session that will be the most valuable 45 minutes that you spend learning about YouTube this year. And on this call, we'll figure out where you are right now, where you need to be, we'll make a plan to get there, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together or not. And also make sure you watch the video on that page too, because the video is super valuable. And by doing this, you will save yourself thousands of hours and probably years of time banging your head against the wall trying to learn it on your own. So make sure you book that call down in the description in the pinned comment below. And also watch the interview that I did with Sean, where we went over exactly how we scaled him all the way past $500,000 a month by clicking right here.